So we can start. Perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Melissa, for being here with us today. Melissa, everyone, she's a master in business development. She has a bunch of different things that I don't want to. There's a huge belt of items: author, speaker, advocate, fractional CEO, and she founded and managed the Patton Consulting Group. Welcome, Dr. Melissa. The floor is yours. Let us know who you are, who do you help, how did you found the Patton Consulting Group?
Well, first off, Luis, I'm going to have to put you in my pocket and take you everywhere I go because that was a really nice and kind intro. I really appreciate it. And it's great to be here on your show. You've had some really crazy topics. And so I feel honored and privileged to be on here in this capacity. Yeah, I've done a lot, made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of triumphs, but it's trial and error. That's life. And I've had an awesome opportunity to do life with several companies that have, scaled and exited, and as well as worked with individuals and within organizations. But it's a privilege to be here. Thank you.
That's awesome. And there's going to be jumping in between your book and some actionable items for business growth. What are some of the things that you have been the proudest? That it could be an exit, or it could be also a business that you help grow. I'm super proud of yourself and what drives you in. So what is that why and the drive that you guys have? Because that's not an easy thing to do. Everything that you said.
No, you're absolutely right. And the answer to this question is very simple because it was a bittersweet moment. And it all started with a little thing called COVID. And COVID was devastating, especially to newer companies like mine. I retired from education after being in it for 20 years. I was a tenured professor of psychology. I also was C-suite as an academic officer at a startup university. And I got to a place where there wasn't enough disruption in my opinion. I felt like I wanted to make a difference, even if it was a small difference. And so I left the college, I retired from the college, and I started this education company, a company that kind of, so to speak, almost birthed this space adjacent terminology that you hear people talk about. And essentially what we were able to do was we were able to take space and STEM kiddos and connect them with sports. And it was an incredible enterprise. We were about 2 to 3 years old when COVID hit. We were doing everything in person. We were doing everything in gyms, in outside playgrounds, connecting kids with sports and space. And when COVID hit, it devastated everyone around me. And we thought real quickly about how we could take what we considered a catastrophe in so many different arenas and how we could help Victory move forward. And that's exactly what we did. We started a SaaS, software as a service company, subscription based. And out of that, we were able to deliver to people's homes Victory programming. Since then, Victory has been iterated. The product has been iterated. But, I always bring up that example because if that would not have happened, number one, I would not have exited from an enterprise company and wouldn't have had that experience. And number two, because sometimes some of the most negative things can be positives and can create a light at the end of the tunnel.
Got it. And I see on the impact that you guys are making in the industry. And let me ask you, and I don't know, like it depends on if you want to answer in a way or the other, but you know how CEOs are. It could be there could be an alpha. There could be someone. For me, I guess when someone gets help, and they need to be allowed to let themselves help. So you imagine having an alpha there. No, because I'm the CEO. I know everything, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're laughing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like I must say you're a force. You like the fact that you can break those people and say, yeah, Melissa, you're right. I need your help. How does that work for you in a room that there's like this boomer that is he knows everything and they build whatever, How do you go about making sure it has to do with education, I guess, and stuff? But I'm asking because you have a breadth of different types of services, and they need recruiting, if they need COO, if they need UX, UI. Those are services that you have listed on your website.
Exactly. That's a really good question. And this is being recorded. It's going to go live to everyone.
Yeah, everyone is watching.
Yeah, so I need to make it as plain as possible because that's one of the things I'm known for. I am unapologetically authentic. Okay, I actually named my book after that. So what I will say is my life consists of walking into the room with those individuals every single day that I go to the office. I am traditionally always the only one. And when I say that, I mean one of the only African Americans, one of very few women. I'm traditionally usually one of the youngest. And I don't know if it stems from an athletic background, but I love the competition. I thrive off of it. What I'm experiencing now with a lack of diversity in space in STEM, I think stems from the adversity that I felt every time I stepped up to the starting line for track and field. You look to your left, you look to your right, and you know that the person has a faster time than you, but you're just crazy enough to get up there and try to beat them. And I feel like that every time I go to work. The salesperson in me enjoys the fight, the attack, the pursuit. But I also think that every time I come across people like that have so many more years of experience than I do, I am just humbled. And I want to learn, and I'm just listening. I mean, if you see me in a room with seasoned folks, I'm not the one saying all the words. I am 100% listening to everything that they say. I'm watching their nonverbals. I'm watching how they shift the cup here and then over to this place. Because all of those things are visual cues to help me understand where they are in the conversation. How do they feel about the synergy in the room? It's also teaching me how to lead better. So I don't know if that was the answer you were expecting, but my degrees and my years of experience mean absolutely nothing when I walk into a room. You have to start from ground zero, and you have to prove that you belong there.
Yeah. So that question tells me, for instance, that you're a good listener. You can have a great discovery call with the individual, and you're going to let them speak. You're going to, like 80-20 rule, 80% listening. Okay. And now you have a belt of experience of things that you can solve with the things that you're listening and they are saying. You say, oh, perfect. They are having an issue with retention of employees. And that's the 80-20. And you if you're going to recommend a mechanism that has the highest impact and leverage on their business, it has to be the one that you identified, but because you were listening, not because you were talking 80% of the time and just trying like, oh, I have this, that. So, yeah, okay.
I'm following you. You're 100% right.
that was easy. That was easy. Now, that was a good transition so that we can talk about the book. So I saw it is in Amazon. It talks about about grit, resiliency. So how did you come up with? Was that because of the sport kind of mentality or the competitiveness? How did you come up with the idea of having this book out in the market?
Yeah, so it's really actually not that sexy of a story. I was getting some calls and everybody was asking me to speak on the same topic. And I don't know about you, Louis, or some of the people in the audience, but I don't have time to sit down and prepare a keynote or talking points for a panel discussion. My time, every 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, I'm on meetings. So I said to myself, I'm always saying the same thing. How can I package this so that when I go to speaking engagements, I kind of have a template, so to speak, or an outline for my speaking engagements. And then in that same vein, I also have something to sell them or to give them as a gift. And so that's how I came up with Grit and Growth. And if you've read it, it's really inspired by all the things that makes me who I am. Number one, I'm a complete nut. Okay. In my forward, I quote a gangster rapper. because it made sense. And I really pair, my personal experiences, my athletic experiences with those opportunities that I've had in industry, and help people hopefully solve problems or get over themselves. Because a lot of the times the reason why we don't persist is because we're just too stuck in our own selves and we can't get to the next level. So that's really what the book talks about. It was fun to write. It's even more fun to see people posting and to hear about departments that are reading it and they're going through it, chapter by chapter. I mean, that just warms my heart. It fuels me.
That's like a great example of a good lead magnet to lead with value in the marketplace. And because it's really good, you're getting good feedback and they get a taste on their own time of all the things that you have done and the stories and the mechanisms of growth in your career. Because like you said, we have failed in the past with some different experiences, but you learn from them and then act upon. Now, you have also an event that you're having soon in Europe that we discussed a little bit about space and tech. So what is that, so that people know as well?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I'm so excited, and I'll tell you the backstory quickly. So I was working for a different company last year, and I was asked to go to Scotland and speak on a panel about education to STEM and workforce development, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, cool, Scotland, sure. And so I get there, and the exhibit team, they just rolled out the red carpet. It was such an amazing experience. I got such good feedback from people after speaking, people that I still keep in touch with today. And about 4 or 5 months ago, I got a message from the executive leader in charge of SpaceCom Europe. And she said, "So you ready to go?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "We need you on the team. Let's go." And I was just over the moon floored. I was so excited because very rarely do we get to try on our employers before they bring us on board. And this was an opportunity for me not only to have really good talking points about SpaceCom, but be able to actually articulate to potential customers that this is the real deal and we're making a difference. And so my firm actually won a contract with them and I became head of U.S. engagement. So we are creating and curating opportunities for U.S. delegates to go to Scotland in London. Super excited. I'm talking to some of the largest companies in the nation. I had a conversation before I got on the airplane a couple of days ago with an insurance agent, essentially, I'm oversimplifying it, that's focusing on space. Because insurance that we have now is not dedicated to space. And I was just like, whoa, I need to get you on a panel. People need to hear about this stuff. So yeah, it's a really exciting adventure. My team is loving the opportunity to talk to different types of people, and we cannot wait for the December show in Scotland.
That's amazing. I was just looking at some of the communications that were posted about yourself being the head of U.S. engagement in the SpaceCom. It's I heard of it, but I didn't know much until I met you and was reading a little bit about it and all the people speaking. Like we're talking about version.
Yes.
Like it's
yeah,
Richard Branson.
Like this is a real thing.
Yeah.
And the timing is perfect. You know, when you look at what's happening with new administration and when you're looking at what's going on with NASA and the opportunity to go abroad and create a stream of revenue for your US-based company, this makes sense. And then the ability for me to be here in the US and customize opportunity for those delegates. I sound like a salesperson, but really I'm super passionate about the vision and the direction that it's going in, because guys, space is not just this random wild thing up there. Space is now. We're all in space.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what's next. And in terms of with that, what are some of the AI, like kind of maybe shifting a little bit? Are you guys exploring AI technologies as well with your clients or with the initiative at SpaceCom? what's your experience with AI? What you guys have done with that?
Yeah, so AI is everywhere. And I don't want to tell you all my secrets because people pay me. No, I'm kidding. I'm a smaller firm. People don't realize that we manage some pretty big clients and some big contracts. But the way that we stay lean and agile is through AI, to be honest with you. So we're using AI within Patton Consulting Group in a couple different capacities. Number one, with email workflow. So having AI actually invite people to schedule a meeting, whether it be through Calendly or whether it be through a product like Lindy. I was just super excited. I'm totally giving them a shout out. Hopefully they're a good company. But I just got a chance to talk to the CEO of Clara, which is another email workflow type of system. So we're going to be invited to their pilot. My team doesn't even know that yet, which is very exciting. So figuring out ways not to eliminate titles or positions, but better and be more efficient at what we're doing as far as our workflow. We also use a souped up version of Monday.com CRM. One day they're going to hire me to be their spokesperson if I say their name in every single podcast that I'm on. But they have incredible tools when it comes to AI and integration. And when you're dealing with a CRM, whether it's HubSpot, whether it's one of these other ones, you want it to work the way you want it to work, and you want to be able to customize it to work for you. And we found with some of their AI integrations and some of the new stuff that they have going on with their CRM, it has worked tremendously well for us. So AI is almost my entire administrative team, to the fact where I don't even have an EA. I have an assistant that's learning how to incorporate AI in everything that we do top down. AI is huge in space. Obviously, it's interrelated and integrated into everything you could possibly imagine. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more infused. The question always comes up. I was actually in an interview a couple hours ago, and they asked me the same question. And I was explaining to them the problem persists in not losing people, but people not being able to manage the AI. They have to be able to understand how the AI is supposed to work and how to manipulate or move it or change it so that it works for us. When we stop focusing and prioritizing that, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. But I lean in, which is not an atypical thing an educator would say.
I know.
It's very atypical.
I know, but it's just the resistance of some of the educators that I talk to. Like they are so against it at some point, but they need to adapt. There's no way people are not going to use it. Like they can also jump in to basically detect or to empower themselves in order to counter the fact of people using AI and not learning about it. So, so we could be speaking about that for like 20 more minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to just, if you can give us maybe some final remarks or some inspirational, just to maybe touch someone to take action. Obviously, we're going to put in all the links, everything, your website, 2 websites. We're going to have also the book, everything, so people can see the SpaceCom. And yeah, if you can tell us like maybe just some final remarks so people can take action into their daily lives, business owners.
Yeah, that's a good question. I essentially, I think there's a lot that can be said. But I think that the most important thing, if I'm talking specifically to business owners and startups specifically, it's really important to realize that when you set up your company, when you set up your organization, that you get the support that you need out the gate. Don't set it up and then receive money and then move in directions and not understand what the different systemic steps are. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke on a podcast and we were talking about my Ops Playbook, which you all can get for free on my website. And essentially in that Ops Playbook, it was like, why prioritize an operations expert? And, I have a CEO, why do I need an ops person? And it's the reason behind that is because the CEO does the CEO stuff. the operations person takes that vision from the CEO and puts that vision in actionable items and steps that essentially the entire team can operate in. So I think that's the biggest thing for my, my business owners, my startups. I'm just really thinking clearly through the different systemic steps and making sure that you have those people in play.
Good. Perfect. So with that, and I want to ask you more questions, but let's maybe schedule something later in 6 months so that we can speak on the workforce work that you're doing, the COO, all those things in terms of playbooks and such, because there's so much we can share. And thank you for spending time with us. We'll be in touch for sure, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.